So welcome back everybody to the Behind the Brand podcast. It has been a while, but we are back again and we are ready to go with some brand new businesses in what we like to call the hot seat. My name's Curtis and I'm the host and I'm the owner here of Studio 23. But for today, we have a brand new guest. We have CCO Security Services owner Ross here. How you doing, Ross?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good.
I'm all right.
Good.
Thank you very much for coming down.
Yeah, no problem. Glad
especially
to be
on a
here.
Sunday as well. And I've just found that you've just been on shift as well. And stuff
Aye,
like
aye.
that, so
It's all right. I'm used to this. This is my usual weekend anyway. So
he's a busy man. And I'm looking forward to you telling us about your business and stuff like that goes along with it. So have you seen any of our podcasts before, Ross?
Yeah.
Have you seen
I've seen a few.
So you can understand how it works. We just basically introduce who you are to the people, and then we obviously dig a wee bit deeper into the business, what actually it is and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So to kick us off, could you even do as a wee introduction? Don't worry about looking at the cameras.
No, that's fine.
They're just there.
That's
just
all right.
if you can do a wee intro for us and just let us know who you are and how you get started, how you get involved first of all, starting this business. Because I imagine that this is your own business.
It's my own business.
Right,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
own business. So just how it came to be.
Yeah. So I'm Ross Hodger. I'm the owner of CCO Security Services. I've worked in the industry for about 20 years. So basically, I've always done the doors kind of on the side. I've always had a full-time job and then done Friday, Saturdays. I worked in Paisley, Glasgow.
Just kind of like the pubs. And stuff.
Pubs, clubs and stuff like that. Previously, before I started my business, I was an operations manager. I was made redundant, and then I thought, I've worked in the security industry for years. Why don't I try and see if I can get myself a job in security? So I started working with a company as an operations manager, just through my background in operations.
So like for like sort of thing.
Yeah. So just kind of, I was the operations manager for Glasgow. But when I started kind of working for the company, I realised like I could do this. I could start my own thing, because I had people contacting me saying, "Oh, is this your business?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm working for a company." And they're like, "Oh, have you not got your own thing?" And I was like, "No." I thought even people that I know who run pubs or were working doors were like, "Oh, I thought it was your company," but it wasn't. So I thought, I'm just going to go for it. So
just shows you what a good job.
So
doing then, to people would think
people were asking like, "Oh, is that your company?" I'm like, no, it's not mine. So what I did basically was I kind of spoke to a few places and said, "Look, if I did start my own thing, would you come and take my guys X, Y, Z?" And they're like, yeah, just let us know. So it was kind of the end of March this year. I was like, I'm going to do it. Although I didn't really get the option. So the company that I was working for found out that I had a couple of my own doors on the side, and basically said, right, you either need to do your own thing, or you need to work for us. So I was like, you know what, this is the opportunity. Like I'm
kind of a blessing in disguise.
To basically go for it. So it was scary at first because obviously I've got 3 kids, I've got a house to pay, bills, and I was going out on my own, and I was like, oh, I don't know about this. But the good thing was, I did the doors for a lap dancing club on the side. Right, okay. So it's open 7 nights a week. So I had like 4 or 5 nights a week in there. So I thought at least I've got that kind of money coming in. And then if I pick up doors on the side, then that's obviously extra money. So I kind of thought, you know what, this is the only opportunity I'm going to get to do it. So I just thought, got the green light for the missus and said, I'm going to do this. And she was like, yeah, I'll back you up. So
it's like a sink or swim kind of situation there.
Aye. So I just thought,
I jump for it,
I didn't really have any option. Basically, I thought I either need to give up the doors that I've got on the side and continue working with this security company, or just go for it. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. So
amazing. And obviously now that you've been doing it for so long, do you have any regrets?
No, don't get me wrong. I mean, running your own business, probably yourself, it can be challenging at times. Like
a bit horrendous because you're actually being every part of the business.
So kind of at the moment I run the business myself. My partner helps me with like my social media because I'm a dinosaur with stuff like that.
So don't worry. Most do you know that's probably the number one most stressful thing I think with most businesses is social media.
Plus I'm quite a private guy. Like I don't really post a lot on social, like my private accounts. Even when my missus posts stuff, I'm like, just make sure you're not posting the garden in the house and stuff like that. I've worked in security for 20 years. I don't want people to know where I'm staying. So
that's actually a good show. That's a good show.
So I always just kind of kept myself private, but obviously now I'm having to like post stuff. I've started actually just doing like content where my partner was following me about videoing me.
Yep.
Like of the day in the life.
I seen that you were at a coffee shop or something like that.
So just stuff like that. So she's really good at that stuff. So I thought I'm going to need to just suck it up and start doing those kind of things. So yeah, it's been good so far. Like I kind of complain. Like currently we've got 14 pubs and clubs in the industry. We do security for a few hotels, some retail stores. We recently just did, which they'll be happy for me to say, we worked for Govan Housing Association, so we did security for them.
Brilliant.
So kind of things like that. So we do like door supervisors, event security, man guarding. We do executive security, which is technically close protection.
Is that like for individual? Or
aye, so basically if somebody says, look, we want security for, I don't know, say someone's coming in, so I don't know, a celebrity or whatever, or they just need security for something.
Yep.
Like,
could be
so
like a high value item.
Aye, so something like something like that. We can do security.
Usually find that with like art pieces and things
yeah.
Go
So
mental for that.
So I mean, like that. Predominantly our stuff's kind of like pubs and clubs at the moment. I said we've got a few kind of hotels, retail stores that we're doing, but I'm just under 6 months, so I can't complain where we're at the moment. I'm obviously not sleeping much, stressed, but it's good stress. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm stressed that, oh my God, I've only got 2 or 3 doors. Like I've got quite a lot of doors, so it's good.
I think like 6 months really does open your eyes to seeing how the business is running.
Yeah.
Because I've said it before in this podcast as well. Like we had 6 months where it was just a plain kind of room and stuff like that as well. As you can see, it's not massive or anything like that. So we're kind of restricted with the space and stuff that we had. But we had a large table that went right across the room. We had like kind of computer chairs and then like these mics on a stand and stuff like that. And we were just like, just not working. Great for another environment if people wanted that. It was just like, it's not really something that when you're looking on socials, Instas, your TikToks, you see that and the sets look all really nice and stuff.
Aye.
We were like, well, what is it that we're doing wrong here? And we were like, maybe it's the set. And I honestly, I tell you, it ceased from changing it after that 6 month mark.
It's a good setup,
and standing back and looking, going, right, what is it that we could do to do better here? Because you'll now be at this stage and you'll be like, right, well, 6 months now, we're down the line. What can we start to change? We're going at, and it was just as simple. We got rid of that table, got rid of the chairs. We brought in these chairs, got a nice wee table that was kindly donated, and we put the television actually on the floor as well, so we could display properly the logos and stuff, and just kind of opened up. I tell you what, it's opened up the space massively in here because it's not a small room. But you'll be at that stage now. We're 6 months down the line, and do you think that you have to make any big changes at the minute?
I don't. I mean, I think at the moment the biggest thing for me is obviously there is a huge amount of security companies out there. I think during COVID, a lot of companies got started because obviously there was buildings lying empty, so they needed security. So people were like starting up their own businesses. So for me at the moment, it's about standards. You know, like there's obviously a lot of companies out there, and we've took some doors from other companies, and it's literally been due to like standards and the guys that they're sending to the door. So we've got kind of obviously been in the industry for 20 years. I'm like, you know, you need to be, my guys all wear boots, combats or trousers, the uniform, they need to be smartly dressed, they need to be very polite and friendly. So just trying to get that standard so that people say, oh, we use CCO Security Services, their guys are really great, they're dressed smart, XYZ. So
and that's across the full board as well.
Just trying to draw that into the guys, because I've had a few instances where guys, I'll go and do a quick visit before I start my shift or something, and I'll rock up and they're wearing a pair of black trainers, and I'm like, you do that again and you're not working for me. Because it's just a stand. You know, I just think it looks quite 100%. It looks quite unprofessional for me. Do you know what I mean?
You've got to start as you mean. And I think that's it. And if one person's doing that, it then catches on that others think you can get away with doing it as well. So, and it's not doing it into being like a dictatorship. You are trying to set a standard across the securities reasoning, and you want companies, especially hotels and things like that, to know that they're in good hands.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not just like you've just sent anybody willy nilly.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been good so far. I think it's just it can always get better. So I think I'm just saying to the guys, like, I know I've got quite a few guys that have been with me since day one, and they're great guys, and I couldn't do it without them. But I'm trying to get guys to get to that standard. Say, like, this is the standard we need to be at, or we need to continuously grow the standard and get it up. So, because that's what people are looking for.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, whereas when I first started doing the doors, I was taught the wrong way. You know, you were taught that somebody says something to you, give them a slap. Whereas now it's very like. I was going to say I was quite. That was a wee guy. That was where the term the bouncer came from.
Yeah.
But like, even when someone calls me a bouncer now, I say I'm not a bouncer. I'm a door supervisor, because we're there to kind of just make sure that everyone's enjoying themselves. Like, we have a bit of banter with people that are coming in as well, like to the venues, just to, because when the way I see it is, if you're having a bit of fun with the person as they're coming in, if they're inside and they start getting a bit rowdy, or I'll go up and say to them, look, I was nice and respectful when you came in. shows some respect back.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10 it works, because they go, oh, do you know what? Sorry, I know you were being good guys to us at the door and stuff like that. So again, at the moment, it's just trying to get that standard up. The social media part as well. It's, as you said, it's trying to get that to a level where people are actually viewing your stories and stuff like that. So, but I said, having somebody that's kind of good at creating content and stuff like that, hopefully that'll help. And hopefully, because what our plan is to try and we've got kind of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that, but the plan is to try and kind of make the TikTok a bit kind of fun. So like doing kind of like, I'll maybe do some interviews with my guys, saying like, what's it like working for CCO, just kind of stuff like that, just to kind of make it a bit more, it is a serious business security, but there's also a fun side to it as well. But
that's it. And I think when you're going to like your hotels, the clubs and the pubs and stuff like that, they're not wanting somebody to be on that door and act like they are the gatekeeper of
exactly,
this venue, this whatever it is. You know what I mean? They're not wanting people like that. They're wanting just people that are going to make sure that people are, first of all, safe at the end of the day. Because how many times have you been out in, say, Paisley or something like that, and some poor sod has walked up and they're absolutely steaming up their face, and you're just like, look, it's actually dangerous for you to be in here. You need to go home. And that's when they start to get a bit aggressive. Sometimes I'm not saying all the times, because sometimes they do, depending on what kind of crowd that rough, you know what I mean, the type of person it is. As you say, 9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10 are fine.
They're probably quite reasonable as well. Have you had any kind of like horror stories or anything like that, with any sort of stuff like that?
I mean, if it's,
and like, how did you probably manage it as well? Maybe something like that.
I'm not going into names or details or anything, but I think there's been a few things over the years where obviously I've been attacked. There's been people that have maybe came to the premises with weapons, because obviously majority of the venues we do, people get searched. So there's some pubs in that obviously you don't feel it's necessary, but the nightclub industry is always, you need to search. So I've worked in Paisley. I've had incidents where someone's got in with a weapon and tried to attack people with it. So you've, in those kind of instances, you're like, scary, because it's in that instance you think it's kind of life or death. You know, it's your job to go in there and get that person and get them out, but the person's also swinging a weapon about. So in those kind of situations, you just need to kind of work as a team, and right, I'll grab his legs, sweep him and stuff like that, get him on the ground, get the weapon off him and stuff. So I've had a few instances like that. I've a few people try to kind of punch you and stuff like that as well, but
it's just some people.
The scary thing about, and I would say it's actually a lot worse now, is knives. The amount of people that carry knives is very scary. Like, it's actually, I don't know, maybe just when I was younger and I did the doors, I wasn't more wise to it. But I think now, because some of the venues that we do security for, you know, you've got to make sure that the people that are in there are safe. So there's been times where we've searched somebody and they've been, maybe we did an example where we searched a guy and he went, oh, I've got a lockback in here. And I went, all right, aye. And it turned out he was being serious. He did actually have something on him. So that instance, you're a bit like, you don't want to say, right, well, you're not getting in here because you're an idiot, basically. But right, well, obviously you've got to understand, we can't let you in and stuff like that. In that instance, the guy was a bit kind of, well, no, I know the person that runs this and all that. And you're like, right, was he going to pull this out and attack us? Do you know what I mean? So it can be quite scary at times. And I think that's, a lot of people obviously don't see that. They just look at guys on the door, or maybe like guys like ourselves, or that maybe look a bit old and a bouncer. You know, the term of a bouncer. I think that somebody just thinks, oh, he's just a big card man on it, but it's not. It's like some of the stuff we've got to deal with on a daily basis is quite scary. So
I can only imagine, especially as you say, your doors and stuff like that. You're probably expected like your dates and stuff like that, and that sort of stuff. But when it comes probably to like the kind of higher sort of, like as you say, the higher jobs and stuff like that, whether it is like a valued item as we're talking about, stuff like that becomes quite serious, and it can become quite serious as well. And nobody should be going to a job knowing that they don't come home at the end of their job.
Do you know what? I'm not saying like the security end. It's not like we're police or we're like armed response or anything like that. But sometimes, like, for the money that's in the security industry, like, some people expect this high standard but don't want to pay for you know, for what you should be paying, for example, like for security. But there are times sometimes where I'm like, you know, not in a cheesy way, but if I'm leaving the house, I'll give my missus and the kids a kiss, because I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. It's a Friday, Saturday night. Do you know what I mean? Like, and don't get 9 times out of 10, as I said, it's fine. Do you know what I mean? We're the guys that I work with. So I work Thursday to Sunday. Well, I'll do a few nights through the week, and 9 times out of 10, it's fine. And we're all experienced. If we do come up with something, we can deal with it in the right way. Like, even if it is a knife incident or just somebody being an idiot down the stairs or getting somebody being attacked or somebody attacking us, we're good enough to deal with it. And obviously you have to deal with it in a different way now. Whereas back in the day, somebody lamped you lamped them back. Whereas now,
you kind of really put your hands on people.
Everyone's got an SIA license. So what's very challenging now is that if someone hits you and you hit them, you're at fault. I mean, even though that person's hit you first, your SIA license states that you shouldn't really be lifting your hands to that person. That person's attacking you, you should be restraining them and getting them out and stuff like that and telling them to stay back. Whereas
it's a weird one, because you'd be like, if somebody's hitting you and the only way to restrain them is to hit them first, then I'm like, so how you meant to do that?
The problem is, it's like, for me, for example, I need an SI license to run a security business. If I don't have it, I can't run a business. So in my mind, some weekends I'm like, I need to be careful in what I'm doing this weekend. I need to be careful in what the guys are doing because they're representing me. But if I was to lose my head and do something that I shouldn't do, that's my livelihood. That's my business going. That's my bills not getting paid. You know, so stuff like that. So you do sometimes. Whereas years ago when I did it, I wouldn't even hesitate sometimes from what you were doing. But now you sometimes question, right, how do I deal with that situation? Because I can't deal with it that way. I've got to deal with it this way.
The first thing that comes in my head, if somebody's lamping me,
you're going to
lamp them back. Because I'm like, that's the only way that's probably going to get them to be like, oof. To then get them into a restraint.
I mean, don't get you wrong. If the example where, say, I'm down the stairs myself and I'm dealing with an incident, there's 2 guys and start attacking me, I'm going to start throwing punches because it's a life or death matter. Because you don't know if they're going to hit you with a glass or they're going to do whatever. So in those instances, but sometimes if it's just like you dealing with a drunk person and they start taking swings at you, I just try my best to restrain them, put them outside and say, look, away you go, up the road. Majority of the times they'll come back a few weeks later and go, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, I was so drunk, I was this or that. And you're like, sometimes I go, do you know what? You've been man enough to come back and apologise. I'll let you back in, but you do that again and that's you're done. So it's hard. It can be hard.
People that benefit the doubt, you know. People do make mistakes. That's the thing. People do make mistakes.
And we're good at that because there's a lot of places out there, like somebody will get put out for doing something silly and they'll be like, right, they're never allowed back in again. But a lot of times we'll say to the guys, like, do you know what? We know you were in the wrong, it was stupid, we'll let you back in, you know, because sometimes there's these kind of places, their mates all go and they want to go and stuff like that. So we will give people the benefit of doubt, but the problem is people take, in the day and age now, people just take advantage of it. You don't get the respect they used to get when you did the doors. Like, people come up to, for example, like people will walk up to the door now with like a can of beer in their hands or a glass, and I'm like,
for the public,
I'm like, why do you think that's acceptable to walk up to a door? Where else does that? You know, whereas back in the old days, they wouldn't have did that. People would. You walked up to a door, you kept your mouth shut.
I was going to say, you tried to be
said hello,
sober.
And you got in. Whereas we get people walking up and they're zigzagging the whole way, and we're looking at them. They go, right, sorry mate, not the night. You need to try somewhere else. How? And I'm like, because you just zigzagged. So it's funny sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, but it's crazy.
There must be funny sides to it.
There is. I mean, there's times where we deal with stuff that's quite scary. You know what I mean? Like, you go home at night and you go, wow, that was one of those nights. But we have a bit of fun. Do you know what I mean? We have a bit of a laugh on the door, and I expect all my guys to be professional, but you know, because sometimes it's long nights. You know what I mean? Some of the guys are doing 8 to 10 hour shifts, 12 hour shifts. Do you know what I mean? And it's a long day. Especially old firm days. Like, we get a lot of business for the old firms, and sometimes it's, so, you know, if it's a 12:30 kickoff, the guys are in the pub at 11, and then they're there till 12 at night or 11 or whatever, or we do swap overs if it's too long shifts. So it can be a long day. So
during, like, you would never just have it during the event. It's not happens during the event.
You need to come. It's always after. It's always before. Old firms are always never
during the result goes as well.
So obviously we have a bit of fun. We try and keep ourselves going, and we have laughs and stuff like that. Like, well, sometimes like people come up to the door, we'll put funny accents on and stuff like that, just to keep ourselves going. Do you know what I mean? And it's just you need to do it. You never. I've got to the point where obviously I'm trying to build my business up, but I actually enjoy the social aspect of it. Like see going and like some of these guys, no disrespect, but we're probably not going to go and meet each other outside of work. Like some of them I do, but when we're on shift, do you know what I mean? I like getting to meet them, see how their day's been. Even if they've had a bad day, I'll try and like I'm going to wind them up tonight, try and get them out their bad mood or whatever, because that keeps you going. Do you know what I mean? So, and the thing is as well, like
banter,
where we, you know, my missus and my kids are in their bed at 8-9 o'clock every night, so I might as well go out and make some money while they're sleeping. So, and while I'm working, I might have a bit of fun, but be professional, but have a bit of laugh with the guys that we're working with as well.
So people know that they're not working with robots at the end of the day, and that's nothing worse when you can't communicate with somebody like that, and you're just like, you know what, just leave it. Because
you get people that just will come up and go bouncers, and I'm like, we're not. We're a human being. We're there as a security or a door supervisor to keep an eye on yourself and keep an eye on the punters and the staff. And I says, but we'll have a bit of banter with people when they're coming in, just to go, do you know what, the guys are actually, when we walked up, they look scary, but they're actually nice guys. Do you know what I mean? And then sometimes that works in our favour, because some people see things down the stairs and they'll come up and say, Ross, I seen a guy down there and blah, blah, blah. And I'll go, thanks for letting us know. Do you know what I mean? And it works in our favour when you kind of build a bit of rapport with regulars or people that are coming in. So
that's it.
So it helps.
Say it's not just the ones that have hired you for the day. You know what I mean? Loads of these places have regular people.
Yeah.
And if you know what I mean, you build up that rapport, as you say, relationship.
And that's what you want to do with it, because then
they'll feel safe.
Exactly. And then
to come up and say, listen.
They'll pass it on. That's what I say to the guys as well. It's like, at the end of the day, I know it's not their business, it's mine, but you're representing me, and I want people to go, oh, do you know that big? So, for example, we do the Toby Jug. It's right in the city centre. It's a really, really busy pub.
Right, okay.
But we've got a guy, Paul, in there, and they love him, because when I go in and do a visit, they go, oh, Paul, he's great, he's a good guy, and all that. And he's setting those standards, you know what I mean? Like, he builds rapport with the wee old guys that are in there every day having a few beers. And the thing is as well, obviously some of these guys are, they get a wee bit well on at some points, and like Paul's at that point with them, like, you can have a chat with them and say, look, you've been in here all day, maybe time to go up the road, you can come back tomorrow, I'm in the so it's good. So
I respect people like that. I respect people that can call out people to tell them when they've maybe just had that wee bit too much, because
you don't know what these people are going through sometimes, because we see people, and it's like they'll go to the bar and they'll start hammering shots.
Yep.
And people that don't maybe have the experience will just walk by that person and think nothing of it. But we look at that and go, that to me looks like someone's maybe had a bad day. So sometimes the guys will just, not intentionally, but they'll just keep an eye on the person and stuff like that, and then end up getting drunk, and they tell us, oh, this has happened and that's happened, but you can see it. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of standards I'm trying to get our guys to, is observing things, you know what I mean, seeing things that are outside the box, do you know what I mean, like not just your general looking for trouble, you're actually reading people's body language and seeing, like, this guy's obviously down 5 Jaeger bombs and he's only been in the door 5 minutes, do you know what I mean? So it's stuff like that. But obviously these guys will, with the experience, they'll get there. So I'm hoping in the next few years we're all at that level, and obviously the business is continually growing. Yeah,
definitely. And how many people do you currently have, like, working with you in the security part of it?
I think currently at the moment I've got about 20 guys, roughly 18 to 20 guys that are out every week working.
Great.
So it's good. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of these venues, most of our stuff at the moment is kind of Friday, Saturday. We do get other venues that are Thursday to Sunday. We get some day stuff, shift stuff, but the kind of day shift stuff is just one guy, kind of man in an office or a hotel. The doors, it's kind of two guys. The biggest challenge we face at the moment is there are some kind of venues that will say, can I get like one on a Friday and two on a Saturday? And I really don't like one-man doors. From my own experience,
just kind of opening up for any potential.
If something happens, there's don't get me wrong, some of these venues it's probably just a kind of a local pub that feel that they maybe need some security to keep out the local troublemakers.
Yeah.
But the problem is, if you've got one guy on the door and something kicks off, he's on his own. You know what I mean? You shouldn't really be relying on like your bar staff to jump in and help you, or punters. So sometimes that's the biggest challenge we face at the moment. Sometimes is understand, as owning a business, it's about like being cost effective, like awareness of like your outgoings and stuff like that. And sometimes like I do get some venues it's like, can I just get one guy tonight? And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to send one, but I would really rather two, just for that guy's safety.
And this is the reasons why.
And this is the reasons why, X, Y, Z. And they're like, yeah, I totally get that.
It's not down to cost thing, it's due to safety as well.
Yeah, so
that's something happens there, and he's dealing with one.
Yeah.
Something happens over there.
Yeah. And it's happened, like I've had things in the past where...
Because I bet they're not trained on it.
No. So that's the thing that, luckily enough, that a lot of these guys are like, do you know what? It's work for me, it is what it is. But maybe not a lot of places will be like this, but I feel kind of nervous at the weekends on a Friday, because obviously I'm on shift, but I know obviously like one of my guys is in a pub on a Friday night on his own, so a lot of times I'll message them at the end of the shift, say, how was the shift, everything all right? Yeah, everything was good, yeah, great. And then I can relax a wee bit, and then obviously the next guy. And so I feel like, because I worked in the industry for that long, I want to make sure these guys are not only just working for me, they're not just a number. Because a lot of businesses, you know that you're just a number to them. Whereas these guys are out working for me and, you know, building my business and helping me and supporting me. But I also want to make sure that they feel safe, and they feel like I'm not just the boss there to put you on shift. And I want to make sure that you're having a good shift, you're safe, you're getting home safe, stuff like that. So yeah, that can be challenging at times, dealing with like certain clients. Don't get me wrong, like I appreciate a lot of the clients that have took us on and given CCO the opportunity, but I do get kind of anxious sometimes when we've got kind of one man doors and stuff like that, because I've had the experiences where you get 5 people in a nightclub and something kicks off and you've got your back to you and somebody's trying to smack you over the head with a glass, or
I just left that wee bit short on it.
I had a girl smack me over the head with a stiletto heel one time. So I was kicking her.
Hopefully not with the heel part.
It was a heel part. Yeah. I was putting her boyfriend out. So basically, it was a nightclub which literally just opened, and there was 5 people in, and it turned out that the 2 guys had come in and 2 guys and a girl, and it turned out the 2 guys that were in, the girl was one of her exes, and they'd had a bit of beef. But we're always on the ball. So there was like 2 of us inside, but one of the guys that I was working with went to the toilet. So I was just at the bar. I was like, "Can I get a water or whatever?" And I just caught it at the corner of my eye. And the 2 guys started fighting. So I grabbed one of the guys, as I turned my back, she took her shoe off and over the back of the head. And I was like, so
that's dangerous, man. I can kill somebody.
I know. But luckily at that point, the guy I was working with came out the toilet and it was dealt with. But I was like, and that's the thing, people don't. She's just obviously seen me grabbing her boyfriend thinking, what's he doing? And just took her shoe off and smack me in the head with it. So
with training and stuff like that, then obviously, because you will have to be trained, and the guys will have to be trained that do this sort of stuff. Is the training all done in house, or
no?
So
a lot of the guys, I don't do any kind of. Well, I do not to say I don't do training. I'll give guys a kind of bit of advice, and I'll say like we'll do this. I'm hoping at one point I can get to a point where I can maybe start doing some training things.
Because that could
you
be
need qualifications for it, but I know a few guys who have been in the industry who now have their own kind of businesses. But yeah, so you need to do it's a kind of like 5-6 day course. So if you're starting out first time, or you've maybe let your badge run out and you've not done it for a few years, so it's a 5-6 day course. You kind of go through like a lot of the stuff to start with is kind of like books, like you go through stuff like this is what you should be doing, what would you do in this situation, stuff like that. And then you do like physical intervention stuff with it,
kind
like
of theory and practice.
If someone's drunk, so you'll do this scenario where you're taking someone out, you've got them by the arms and you're taking them down the stairs and stuff like that. But the training's all good and well, but sometimes when you're in the actual situations, it's hard to kind of use that kind of training. So obviously, like you try and give the SIA the respect of, they've put these training procedures in place and you try and abide by them, but there are certain scenarios where you can't use the training. You've just got, we've had people that are literally out cold and you've just literally got to like arm and leg them out. Obviously, we'll take them into, if we've got a medical room or, we'll make sure that they are being treated, or, if they do need an ambulance or whatever, or they're at that point, then we'll make sure that they get home safe regardless. But yeah, sometimes the training you're just a bit like, I'm never going to use that kind of training.
Aye.
As much as it's mandatory and you have to do that. So, and then obviously like myself, so your SI license lasts for 3 years, and then you have to do a top up. So I'll have to do a top up, which is a 2-3 day course, but it costs money, obviously. So it's a few £100 for an SI license. But the problem with the industry is I kind of feel like you could literally get a SI license out of cereal box at the moment. You know, it's not like it used to be. You know, and the problem is like trying to get guys that are experienced, you know, have got high standards, you know, they understand the industry. Because I know everyone needs to start from the bottom. I've had some guys come on for me and they're like, this is my first shift. But they've got a good presence about them. You know, they've got, and that 80% of the time, if you look the part, you know, people are not going to mess with you and stuff like that. But
I mean, I look at myself and I'm like, I don't think I'm the kind of guy.
No, but I mean, I've worked with guys over the years that are like 5'4" and they like, you're like, they can go. I mean, not saying that that's what we're there for, but they can handle themselves.
So I would know that a place is well protected by looking at somebody instantly and going, right, I don't really want to mess with them, to be fair.
And it kind of works in my favour a bit. So I'll go out during the week. So I'll sometimes go out with business cards throughout the week, and sometimes, you know, I'll try and nip down to some venues before, and I'll kind of look at the level of security that they've got on the door. And that's not disrespectful to the guys that are there. They're obviously there to do a job, and I'll think I could give them better security. You know what I mean? And unfortunately that's the kind of way the industry is now. Like, everyone seems to be getting an SIA license and going on a door, and you can't just put anyone on a door. Do you know what I mean? What I tend to do is, obviously the place we do, it's open 7 nights a week. You've got 4 or 5 guys on there a week. Sometimes if I've got a guy who's been referred to me and I need somebody to cover, I'll probably take them on with me so that I can take them under my wing and say, right, this is how we do it here, X, Y, Z, and then go. I can make a kind of judgment on, especially if they're asking questions. The best thing, so a guy comes in and he doesn't ask any questions, he just stands in a corner and does his job. That's a no for me. But if he's asking like, and what would you do in this situation? I like that. And there's never too many questions, because it sounds to me like he's keen. He wants to learn. He wants to
willing to learn.
He wants to know from my experience, like, what would you do? So I like when I get somebody on that asks questions, because I think, do you know what, I can try and mould this person into a good door supervisor, good security guard or whatever, because it's a shame, because a lot of these guys do come on now and they just basically get papped on a door. No disrespect to the bigger companies, but obviously they've got hundreds of guys working for them.
Sometimes it's just a number.
And it's literally just a number. They'll just be like, I'm just going to put that guy on there because it's a quiet pub and blah, blah, but he's got absolutely zero experience. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard. So that I'm kind of trying to
abolish that.
Take those kind of businesses and say, look, I know you've got this company, but I can give you this for this and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And try and say, like, what is it you're looking for? Because that's the one thing for me is, like, if I contact a venue and say, you know, this is our rate of pay, this is what our guys do, and they go, no, we're all right, and I'll go, well, let me know what it is that you're looking for, and if in the future you do decide to change, we'll make sure we've got that for you.
That's
what I mean, so
the best thing you can do definitely is contact these different places, because they're all probably contractual. And
there's a lot of places,
they will run out and stuff like that.
There's a lot of, like, you get like a lot of like pub kind of branches as well. So they'll have like so many pubs in an area, but they'll have a security company contracted to do that. So don't get me wrong, sometimes I've seen it that they'll change. You know, there's been venues that have had a company for 10 years, and all of a sudden they've got a different company on, and you're like, so it changes. You know what I mean? Things do change. So
something would be good for you is like what's the word for it called? Like your feedback and things like that. Like
so that's the kind of thing we're trying to work on.
It's actually called
like reviews and stuff like that.
Reviews, but there's like another word. I can't mind. That's just flew at the top of my head. It'll come back to me later on the podcast. Wait till we finish, and I guarantee it'll come back to me. But be one of those ones where you're able to provide. Well, listen, we're currently dealing with this, X, Y, and Z. This is our our reviews basically from it as well. Yeah,
that's the kind of area we're trying to get to at the moment. Obviously, like, we do get a lot of client reviews, which is good, but I try and get the staff to do reviews as well, to say, look, can you do me a favour if you, like, drop me a wee review and I can pop it on my socials and people can see it. And then obviously like you've got your Facebook where you can do reviews on there, 5-star. So we're trying to get kind of people to start kind of doing those things, because we're now nearly 6 months down the line. We've had some venues for 6 months. So, and yeah, just trying to kind of build it up, because that's, people do that. People are going to, if I contact a venue and they go on my Facebook, they'll probably have a look at my pictures and stuff like that, but if they see that there's a review bit, they're going to go in and look at the reviews. So
I think for the line of work you're doing, people definitely want to see.
Yeah, they want to see feedback from people.
Doing well, and everything that goes along with it.
Aye, so yeah, so it's just try to build the business up and just get people to make that change and give us that opportunity to say, look, it's not working with the current provider we've got, let's give CCO an opportunity. So, but at that point now, we've got a few venues where we've contacted and they're under a contract at the moment. So they've said, look, let us run out the contract,
then review it,
and then we'll review it and give you a shout. So, and what I tend to do is I'll follow them on Facebook and Instagram. I'll like their stuff. I'll try and share it, because at the end of the day, like, I don't have any problems with seeing other people, like other security companies, like doing really well, because at the end of the day, that company could grow huge and they can see that I'm liking it, and they'll go, do you know what? We actually need more guys. I'm going to bring Ross on as a subcontractor.
Well, I was going to say,
so
you could
that's
do collaboration.
The kind of thing. Yeah. So that's the kind of things we're doing.
Because they may be short one night,
yeah,
and then they realise, as I say, we might need to, as I say, subcontract.
The problem at the moment we've got is, because we're a new business, there's a thing called ACS. So it's an accreditation from the SIA.
Okay.
So you have to have your business running for 12 months and you have to have a running contract for 12 months.
Ah, right, okay.
So once we get the opportunity to apply for that and get that, it opens up so many other doors.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So I've already got a few kind of things lined up for when we've got that. So I'm trying to keep in touch with that person, and and every now and then I'm dropping a message saying how's things, to make sure that when we do get that, like, we've got that opportunity to get more work. So it's there. It's frustrating because I'd love it right now, but at least I know down the line, once I've got that accreditation,
it's good to have something to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, so
and I think like that, you're doing the right things at the moment. So as you're saying about your socials and things like that, like, don't worry about that too much, because you're obviously doing the right things. You're putting the right things in place for when it comes to it as well, because the socials and things like that don't have to be difficult, don't have to be hard. So we can chat about that after, don't worry about that. But it sounds like everything that you're doing a minute is you're putting the blocks out, and you're doing it in the right order. So I wouldn't worry about that as well. And as you say, get through your next 6 months, as you say, and then you're on.
I say it's just like, in my head, it's like I've got 5 years. So and within 5 years, I'd like to be at a point where, on a Friday, Saturday night, I can sit in my living room and watch crap Saturday night TV and maybe have a beer, rather than being on the door every weekend. But I also enjoy the social aspect of it. And sometimes I've had the odd occasion where I've maybe had the odd night off and I'm like, I could be working tonight. Do you know what I mean? It's just that mentality of, Amanda's out, my partner's away at her bed, the kids are in their bed, I'm sitting here watching the TV, or I'm on the laptop doing work stuff. I'm like, I could be doing a shift. So majority, I work most weekends.
Finding that balance in it.
Unless I'm told, right, we've got something to go to this weekend, or can we go out for a date night or something, or the kids, you know what I mean? So I'll try and kind of, I get it. You know what I mean? My partner's pretty good and my family's pretty good to know that Thursday to Sunday or Friday, Saturday, whatever, they know that I'm busy. So but I'll try my best to kind of, it's trying to have that balance in it. It's running a business and having a family, and that'll
be things you'll pick up along the way. That'll be things as much as you will grow, you know what I mean, the positions in the business will change as well. You'll bring more people on and stuff like that, and then hopefully you get to a point where, as you say, you are just running from your home,
so it's
your office space, whatever it is you're using.
It's good. It's stressful now, but it is. It's a good stress.
But would you change it though? Would you rather have the stress than now and build something amazing?
No, I'd rather have the stress.
As you say,
I mean,
work for somebody.
That I have moments every week where I'm like, right, I've had enough. Like, I'm just going to go and get a job, and like this is too stressful at times. But it's just trying to fight those demons and say, right, do you know what? Just keep going, keep going. And it's good. Like, I have those fights with myself every week, but I get the opportunity, like, to go to the gym or speak to my partner and say, like, she knows, like, she'll know when I'm having a bad day, and I try my best not to, but it's hard sometimes when you feel like you're not getting somewhere, or you've maybe, you thought you were getting that and you're not getting it and stuff like that, or sometimes, I know you've said don't worry about your social, but sometimes I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what am I going to post today? Do you know what I mean? Like, so I try my best to make sure that I'm trying to post things that people are actually going to react to and like and share and stuff like that, and so it can be.
I'll chat with you about that. Don't worry.
It can be challenging sometimes.
Because, I think people overthink their socials too much. I do it. I'm the exact same.
Yeah,
I mean, my partner Rebecca, and that will tell you, I overthink it to the max. But when I have people in here that are content creators and stuff like that, and they come in, and when I'm speaking to them, I'm like, oh, what's this and stuff, and they're like, look, don't stress about it.
Yeah,
and don't be worried about posting every day. Like, you don't need to worry about that. Don't worry about that.
I'm getting to that point now. Like for a while,
stories and stuff like updated. Let people see where you are. Let that build up and stuff. But see, when it comes to your socials and stuff, you want to have really good. Probably about three or four good posts for the week. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I think that's what we're kind of, because my partner's she is quite good at content. She did her own kind of business on the side.
Brilliant.
And then she's kind of just with family life and stuff like that. And obviously me starting my business, she kind of put it to the side. But she was really good at doing videos and stuff like that. So she's kind of helped me. And she said that, look, just do even one post a day. Like, because if you do too many, people will miss the previous post and they're not. So she said, just do.
You can get lost, but it's about putting the right stuff.
And obviously stories help. Like I'm just getting used to this now. Like put it on your story, don't post it.
That's it.
So stuff like
that. Work on one platform at a time and build up from there.
So it's I kind of complain, like other businesses in the first 6 months could be really struggling and like only have a couple of bits of business, where I've managed to build it up to a point where it's my Friday, Saturday nights. Well, my weeks are busy. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm kind of, I said it's a good stress. I can't really complain. You know what I mean? Like things are going well. So.
And kind of just to kind of round everything off, what exactly does CCO stand for?
It's the initials of my kids.
There you go. So we were trying to guess off the camera, and I was like, I bet you it'll be something to do with kids.
It's a funny part because I had to change it. So if I did it in order, it would be COC. I thought I can't do that, so I changed it to CCO. So
CCO, that's decent.
So Carson, Charlie, and Orla. So they're my kids. So
there you go. Shout out the kids then.
So I thought, I'll just. I was looking at a few names and I was like, CCO, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'll go with that. Seems all right. So.
No, we were just wondering because we were talking about it off camera, and I said, I guarantee, like most, they always kind of name it after kids.
So I know a few guys that have got businesses, and it's literally their initials of their kids. So I thought, you know what? I'll just go for it. Just that'll do. So
brilliant, mate. So, listen, can't thank you enough for coming.
No, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the cameras and stuff like that about how people maybe can get in touch with yourself?
Yeah. So basically they can so Instagram CCO.Security Services, Facebook, you can get it on there. If you're out in town, we've got quite a number of venues now, so just look out for CCO branding, black and white, the security. So
that's it.
Yeah, so just if you can, just give us a follow, give us a like, and if you see our guys out there, say hello.
Brilliant. And we'll make sure to tag you and all the stuff as well, so that if you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify, Apple, the links will be in the description, so you can follow CCO Security Services, and you can see Ross and the team as well, because you're doing well. I see your team out and about and stuff like that. It's always different guys and stuff, so I'm like, that's quite cool. But listen, mate, thank you so much for coming
thank you
along.
I appreciate it.
We hope you've enjoyed the episode, everybody. We're hoping to bring back obviously the Behind the Brand more often, again, maybe just not as much as what we were doing beforehand. We were literally doing every week. So maybe every couple of weeks or whatever, but we'll figure that out anyway. But thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow everything, and if you're looking to start your own podcast, then visit Studio 23 Creative, and you can get your podcast booked in, or any content creation sorted. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again very soon.